All right, so now I'm going to show you how to make vanilla buttercream. This is American buttercream. So one group did make this and did get to sample it. It's a little bit similar of a recipe. It's not as sweet. American buttercream is super sweet. So this is a combination, this recipe, of shortening and butter. We like to do a combination of both. This is what makes it a little less sweet. So you always start with creaming when you're making your buttercream. You need to use a kitchen mixer and you're gonna use the whip attachment so it is light and fluffy. I brought my butter to room temperature. So 3.4 ounces of shortening, and then we have about 4 ounces or 1 stick of butter. And then we're going to start beating this together, okay? So I have my powdered sugar already measured. We are going to be using 480 grams. We're gonna have a little bit of heavy cream, and then we add salt at the end just to break up that sweetness. Again, American buttercream is super, super sweet, so the salt will help break it up. Just a little bit. All right, again, we're coming off of the buttercream sampling, but this is traditional for the United States, which is why we have you make it for your first cake. And it works really well with decorating. So this is all incorporated. You can kind of see. Just wanted to kind of melt together. And then we're gonna add the powdered sugar a little at a time. So I'm going to add this now, just because I do not, it's a lot of powdered sugar. So I'm going to put just a little bit in there. It definitely helps when you have your mise en place done. You're gonna start by stirring. All right. And then you're just gonna add about a cup at a time, but be cognizant of your time. So like watch the clock, listen to your teacher's voice, because you don't wanna add too little at a time that it's gonna take you, longer than the period. All right, so I'm gonna stir. And we'll be right back, and I'll show you what it looks like when all the powdered sugar is incorporated. All right, so we are back, and you can see that this is just the powdered sugar incorporated. So I let it beat for about 5 minutes on a 4. Okay, so I'm gonna lower it down. And now I'm gonna add in my heavy cream, and I added my vanilla into this. It's fine adding it together. So that I like using heavy cream opposed to milk, just because it makes it a little bit fluffier, like whipped cream. And then I'm gonna speed this up. Vanilla is obviously adding flavor. I'm gonna go to a 6, and I'm just going to whip this until it's all incorporated. So sometimes the recipe will call for clear vanilla. This is an instance that you would want to use clear vanilla, but if you don't have it, you can use regular vanilla. Especially your teacher's gonna allow you to dye your frosting. So you're not going into like full decorating mode, not until we get to buttercream cakes. But you could dye this any color you want. You can take a little away to do for a border. Your teacher will explain all of how you're gonna kind of assemble this. So we just want it nice and whipped. Okay. So now we're going to kind of see how beautiful this is. It's really yummy and good. So it's nice and it's fabulous. Okay, so now you are going to put it into a baggie. All right, so you are going to make sure you always clean your bowl on the sides, because sometimes you get chunks. You might want to re-whip it one more time. Mine is fine. And then I will show you how you're going to use this for assembly. I'm keeping mine white, okay? So we'll be back. All right, so this is the end of our homemade cake. So you made your yellow cake. We made our chocolate cream filling, and then we have our frosting, all right? Now we're gonna assemble it. So we give you 2 days for this. We're gonna do a crumb coat. Crumb coat seals in the crumbs, and this is the day you're gonna assemble. I'll use some terminology, and then we usually let it refrigerate, and then you could decorate it a little bit the next day with a final coat and a basic border. Obviously, it depends on how fast you work. So on this day, you are going to take the cakes out of the pan. So to do that, you're just going to take a knife and loosen the sides, and then you're going to take them right out. So Now we're going to peel back. You can see the purpose of our parchment paper now and why it's so important. Okay, and that goes in the garbage can. And then you're gonna use a serrated knife to level out your surface, okay? Now for this, I'm gonna start assembling. I didn't put this in a piping bag, and that's fine. I'm gonna use my baggie as my piping bag. I'm just gonna put a little dollop of frosting to put this right into place. So I'm using a cake turntable, a cake board, and then this is a rubber mat that helps it stay in place. So these, of course mine is not coming apart, but these come apart. And then you want this just to keep it in place. You can kind of see, it doesn't move, okay? And then I'm gonna put this side that I cut downward, like so, just like this. Okay, and then I'm going to use my serrated knife and I'll show you how to do this. So the best way to do this, you're gonna use a cutting board. I just have it on this so I didn't mess another item, is you're going to take your serrated knife. I like to put my hand here and then I kind of feel and I look with your eyes. So you want it eye level. Sometimes it is pretty flat that you do not need to do this. And sometimes like mine, it has a big peak, excuse me, which is why I'm taking it apart, okay? So you can kind of see I leveled it off, all right? You can save this. A lot of times bakeries will use this for cake pops or for molding. We are not using it for anything, so you can just eat it when your teacher says it's okay, okay? So when you assemble this, we're gonna put our frosting and our filling in the middle, but this is the part you want upward because the edges are cleaner, all right? If you do it upward like this, you're gonna have a lot more crumbs, you're gonna get super frustrated, okay? So now let's get assembling. So when you start assembling, you wanna make sure you have warm water next to you, and you're gonna be using a straight edge spatula. Done with all of this, so I'm gonna move this off to the side, so we're done with it. We're not gonna eat this, so I'm gonna throw it away, okay? And now I'm ready for my assembling. So I'm gonna take that same frosting and I am going to create a dam, okay? So if you think of water, right? A dam holds bodies of water in one area. That's the same exact thing that this frosting dam is going to do for our assembly. I'm creating a wall essentially, AKA a dam, to hold my filling right in place, okay? So depending on how big you make it, you want to take your chocolate filling and you are going to put it right in there. And I know kids are always like, oh, that looks weird. It's like, well, it's chocolate filling and it's going to come out just fine when you cut it. It's just when you plop it down, obviously it's gonna look different, right? Okay, so just like so. And I'm gonna take my straight edge spatula and I'm just going to spread this out, making sure it's as even as possible. And the reason why you have that dam now is you don't want that chocolate filling, it's a different texture, spilling out when you're decorating. You don't want it in your crumb coat or your final coat. We don't want to see it marble, okay? So now I'm done with this. I'm just gonna wipe this, okay? And then I'm gonna take my next layer and I'm gonna set it right on the top, okay? Now this is where you're going to kind of make sure it all aligns. And cake is very flexible, so it has a lot of give to make it. Don't press it too hard, all right? Now what we're gonna do is I don't need any more of this chocolate cream, so you and your partner can either decide to dispose of it, or you can divide it up and eat it. Like I said, it's just chocolate pudding. We're not gonna eat it, so I just threw it in the garbage can, okay? Keep your area clean. Now we're gonna start frosting, okay? Now here's the thing, a lot of times students will start frosting and they have a really messy area. How can you make something look beautiful if your area is dirty? So make sure it's nice and clean, okay? So now I have my clean spatula. I'm gonna let that soak in some water, and then I am going to take my frosting and I'm going to go around the edge, getting it ready for my crumb coat. So a crumb coat is your first coat. You seal it in. And there's people that work at bakeries that all they do is they crumb coat. And they get real good at it because they're just crumb coating, all right? And sometimes it looks like they literally took frosting and just dumped it down. And the reason they're so good at it is because that's what they do all day long. So the more you do it, the better it's gonna get. Don't focus too much on the crumb coat because you're gonna do a final coat also. So I like to start with my sides first, and I smooth like so. And you want warm water, and you're just smoothing it out. And again, the idea of this is just to seal in the crumbs. You use your water to help guide you. Okay, notice that I prepped it nice, so it shouldn't be very messy. If your area is messy, really reevaluate the way you're going about doing this. I just keep my extra frosting here, and then I start here. Okay, so normally your cake turntable should turn. Mine's stuck because the kids wash these. You shouldn't really be washing them hardcore because then they get clogged up in there. Okay, and then you're going to go around. And then you'll go through and clean it up. So, okay. So right now, essentially, we have like a naked cake. And then you are going to refrigerate this overnight, getting it ready for your final coat. So we'll come back and do that in a little bit. All right, so now we are going to do our final coat. You can spend a lot more time on this than I'm going to spend. So this is what our crumb coat looks like. So for our final coat, I put this in the refrigerator. You want it to be cold. I'm gonna start on the side and the center. Give me a big mount. And then I'm just gonna, again, go around the sides, just like this. Like so. Someone on the table, that's okay. All right, and then I am going to take I'm just going to start smoothing it around on the top this time. And motion is key here. And it's really important that your cake is cold. It will help. Okay, and then you go through. And what I notice with students is you do like a small section at a time, okay? And then you can clean it up. All right, so I'm just gliding, small section, and then on the top, gliding. Okay, and again, so see how I have this blob here? Clean it, and go smooth. All right, just like so. Go around the side. So there's some other tools. You can use a icing comb to get different textures. It will help smooth it. And then just like this. And then you go in towards you. Okay. And a lot of times kids will focus on getting it like super specific, like see over here, it's kind of ugly. So then I just take my extra frosting here, kind of put it on like this. And then I will take this and I glide it. See how I smoothed that out and the water helped, okay? Sometimes you'll have like an air pocket here, so you just put a little glob there and then smooth. And then obviously you always go towards yourself. Okay, so you can spend a lot more time doing it than I just did. And yours might look better than mine. That's your challenge, make it look better than mine. And now I'm gonna do just I'm gonna start a very basic border. Depending on what sprinkles are available, your teacher might let you put sprinkles on it. But we would like you to attempt to do a border on the bottom and then on the top. So this is more of a closed star. I would just focus on a seashell border or just a round tip. And to do that, you are just going to go start press and then pull. Press and then pull. So you can kind of see that illusion. All right, I'll do it on the top too. You don't want to do it right on the edge or it just falls off. So you can go like this. So a lot of times students think that it's like boom, 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 like back and forth. Each one is like its own pipe. Okay, or you can do a rosette like this. So it's whatever you and your partner have time for. All right, and then you have your beautiful cake. Enjoy.